And welcome to Things You Might Not Have Heard for this Tuesday, January the 17th, 2023. I am Jay Clifton Payne, about to bring you 8 news stories that are basically the latest in news from yesterday, from information, politics, current events, and pop culture. Yes, from the graphic, we are going to talk about Michelle Obama, not so much making news, but making waves, and we'll get to what's going on in a moment. But we're going to give you the great news stories that may have been overlooked by some of the mainstream media folks, and some things that sort of popped in there. We happened to catch some things fairly easy early in the reporting yesterday, as it was MLK Celebration Day, and unfortunately, a fairly bloody day across the way. We didn't get all the bad stories. We got a few of them in there, and we'll tell you what you might have missed inside of the creases. 8 stories today. They were curated by me from the 15 top stories over the past 30 hours that you say were most conversational. So to see how that works out and how you can be a part of the show, basically tell me what to talk about, give us about 12 minutes to the end of the headlines, and you can see how the follow the feeds things work. In the meantime, let's get into the stories that we have for today. Don't forget, go to our main website. This is theconversationproject.com. If you want to see more details and things we do, we tell you go there so we do less yakking yak about the yakety yak stuff. It is what we do. So let's do what we do fairly good. 8 headlines a day, vetted by you, curated by me, and starting off with this one. Remember yesterday when we talked about Ed Reed going off on Bethune-Cookman and the HBU culture for just not having the mentality for being winners? Headline for this morning, or technically yesterday. Ed Reed apologizes for slamming conditions at Bethune-Cookman campus in viral social media rant. He didn't apologize in the viral social media rant. He gave the viral social media rant complaining about Bethune-Cookman and the facilities and what they had conditions for athletics, and calling the HBU mentality just basically poor, just not having the willingness to spend money and win big. Apparently, some other folks that are behind his paycheck and some folks other along the HBCU mythos got to Mr. Reed and talked him off the ledge and had him apologizing, mostly for the tone and language of his rant. I've had a quote from him from his Instagram apologies. My language and tone were unacceptable as a father, coach, and leader, and I fell victim while engaging with antagonists on social media. I'm encouraged by the communication with my AD and our administration. Bosses, things seem to be better, or at least things coming out of Ed Reed's mouth make them seem like they're better. Are there issues in HBCUs? There probably are, based on how things work out. Will they be changed? Will they be on a bigger tier of athletic competition anytime soon? Probably not. Are they fine the way they are? Maybe. Maybe that's what the big deal is, that they are actually fine the way they are and they don't need change. Your opinion does matter. Let me know in the comments. Either any way you get this, via podcast or video, wherever you see this, just let me know. Our second story this morning: Kroger CEO issues warning to shoppers after nationwide shortage forces store to restrict popular food product. If you've seen the meme going around with the lady holding eggs and her saying, "Oh my God, he went to Kroger," you know what I'm talking about. Eggs cost a lot of money, a whole lot of money right now, more money than it did before. In the past 12 months, egg prices have gone up nearly 60% due to severe avian flu outbreak, which means there actually is a shortage. This is not some sort of made up thing based on avian flu, because when the birds get the bird flu, you kill them. That means less eggs and less chicken, but there's another story. The shortage of eggs has been very noticeable to most people. In fact, many people who have not noticed a lot of the other things going up have noticed the actual price of eggs. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that a dozen large eggs could cost anywhere between $4.43 and $7.37 right now. And some grocery stores are going to tactics like Kroger. They and their Lindy brand are going to restrict the number of eggs you can buy. Number one, because there's not a lot of eggs there, so you're not going to get many eggs in the first place. But they want to keep some eggs on the shelf for more customers and hope people aren't hoarding eggs. Now, here's the weird thing. Who's actually hoarding eggs? In the normal times, the biggest thing is the price. It's a deal. But just because you hoard eggs, that means you have to eat them all faster, right? We'll see how that works out going forward. USA Today warns against using culturally sensitive words like aloha, hola, and shalom. USA Today. Now let's back up a second. This is an article actually published by Fox News complaining about USA Today being woke. So there's your angle. But the actual article from USA Today published about saying maybe it's time to stop using words like aloha and other culturally sensitive words out of context, essentially because, it's cool to say aloha to your friends at a party as opposed to being Hawaiian and speaking their language out there. Saying hola as opposed to hello because it's kind of funny, and shalom because people think shalom sounds cool. What the thing is it's cultural appropriation. It's an issue. I'm not going to go deep into the woke culture because it's one things where it might mean more than it really does, but it is a thing where you might want to back away from saying things like that, especially around other folks, other cultures, because it doesn't work that way. Yes, I have my own simple things in those same veins as well. Being a person of darker skin complexion, that for those who can't see me because you're listening to the audio, that means because I'm black. However, I don't roll around talking about using other people's language things in cases and saying, oh, actually, that's not true. I do say things, have said things on the radio to sort of be funny in character. I'll say things like schedule and say things in British tones to sort of, make things sort of work out in the script. But other culture type words, those things I don't do. And not because I'm necessarily woke, mostly because that you probably didn't really think about in the first place. But going hola and saying aloha and things like shalom, just in general conversation, popping up like slang. Some people think it might be time to not do that. Fox News says say it all the time because they're Fox News, I guess. Next story. Jay Whitley, Buffalo Blizzard hero who sheltered more than 20 people from a storm, is awarded Super Bowl tickets by Buffalo Bills. Jay Whitley is a man who broke into a school building during the big Buffalo snowstorm and got 24 people into a building for shelter that were stuck in the snow. They were literally stuck in the snow and had no way out. So what he did was, like you said, he broke into a building, led people to that, and they were able to survive the blizzard. Many people actually died out there being stuck in cars and traffic. What does he get? Tickets to the Super Bowl. The Bills have taken good care of this guy, and hopefully you'll get a chance to watch his Bills play the Super Bowl. They had a good showing of the weekend, getting a chance to get the win and advancing into the actual next round. However, let's go back to the story. Remember, 52 inches of snow fell in that period of about 2-3 days, and in that case the Buffalo Bills, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the Super Bowl in Glendale, Arizona is making sure that tickets and accommodations are taken care of this guy, for him and a friend to enjoy the stuff. Congratulations, Jay Whitley, for winning a great game of life and just being a great guy all around. The good thing is we're finding out this guy's not a bad guy. He's not a bad dude. Seems like a pretty good guy. Italy's most wanted mafia boss, Matteo Messina Denaro, arrested in Sicily. Is that 3 first names in Italian? I'm not sure, but sounds like a bad dude. The most wanted mafia boss, arrested after 30 years on the run. The Italian media reported that Matteo Denaro, I guess his 2 last names, was captured and taken into a secret location by the Carabinieri, which I totally butchered, but it is basically special police in Italy. Although he had been a fugitive since 1993, he was thought to still be issuing orders to his subordinates from various secret locations. Police often came close to catching him, but seized valuable businesses linked to him, having been increasingly isolated. Sorry about all that stuff. So basically, he's the Carmen Sandiego, like in real life, running around, sending out his lackeys to do stuff for him. He is like Osama bin Laden was when he was on the run after 9/11, but he was able to pursue a life of crime away from being caught for 30 whole years. That's a pretty big wall on that end. This story right here we put out because it basically broke right in front of us. So we put it in there, put it in the feed, and went with it. In fact, we had comments from people who saw this and couldn't find anything out there on Twitter. The source was CNN. We just saw it pop up into one of our feed readers. So we went ahead with that because we were low on stories. Fort Pierce, Florida shooting, 8 people injured during an MLK Day event, authorities say. 8 people were shot and taken into hospitals, including 1 person in critical condition, the sheriff's office said. At least 4 other people were injured as people ran for safety. Shooting began around 5:20 p.m. in Ellis Park in Florida, where the community had gathered for an afternoon car show, dance performance, live DJ, and kids' activities to celebrate the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The incident marks the 30th mass shooting in the country this year. 30 so far mass shootings. We're only 17 days in. That's kind of amazing. Right now, they had no suspects in the incident as we posted this one. There may be some updates. I'm seeing some reports on the news now of this going on. We'll get more details on this down the line. China population marks first decline in 60 years. This is the first time that the population has fallen. It is now fallen. 1.418 billion last year as the growth rate hit negative 0.6 per thousand households. Poorly read, but you get the point. Official results show that China's demographic crisis continues to deepen while illustrating how widespread shifts to pro-natalist policies are not producing the desired results. Natalist, I think that's what it's supposed to be. Basically trying to make them have more babies. You think it's a weird thing, obsession with white nationalists about having more babies. Essentially, it's a population thing. China was having more babies just kind of naturally because there's more people. And that was the fear of their billion-man army coming over and just taking things over. Right now, the population is falling, which could be a good thing. Although part of the population lack of growth is things like COVID-19. Here in the States and in many more wider European nations, the people of color, the minorities, are basically having babies faster than the soon-to-be white minorities, and that's a fear that the white majorities may be overtaken by the minorities just from sheer numbers. Because of that, white people say you should have more babies. Or at least white people should have more babies. And we can go deeper into that one if you want to on a much later take, because we got to go to this one. This one is a little icky, a little disgusting, a little net tacky. But if Twitter's going to flag us for it, and yeah, it's the second time we put it in there, we're going to talk about it. TLC's MILF Manor labeled gross and creepy as plot twist introduces cougar's son in dating pool. We talked about TLC, which used to be the Learning Channel. Now it's just weird reality shows. And their MILF Manor. If you don't know what a MILF is, then you need to look that one up as well. So it's a bunch of women, a bunch of older ladies, and it was, more or less the cougar thing, as they're going to get a chance to live in a house and date young people, just like the shows go. The twist is their kids, their sons, their actual boys are in the dating pool that can be chosen to date with. Now, it's pretty obvious from the name of the series what it is, and it should be pretty obvious how things went. However, in reality TV shows, there's the double standard. Number one, they don't necessarily tell them what the twist is or what the name of the show is pointed. They just say, you're going to date a bunch of young guys. And two, it's reality, and some people said they kind of knew it already, so that you can take that with a grain of salt. But the real twist of this is the fact that they've switched more of the perspective from the mothers to the sons. We're seeing more input from how the sons are reacting to the whole thing than the mothers, and it's giving us a deep insight into the psychology of people like this. Actually, no, it's just hot trash, but it is what it is. It does what it does. It do what it do, and you are watching TLC because otherwise you wouldn't be watching it, and we would not be talking about it. Let's see if we're talking about this one tomorrow. Madonna, our teaser story for today. Madonna is doing something interesting. She has recently taken away all her social media, wiped her Instagram in preparation for a huge announcement. We suspect it's a tour. We shall see when she starts posting things again. Of course, last year she released a remix album of lots of her greatest hits. This year, on the 40th anniversary of her basically coming out to her big career, she's expected to have a big tour, the biggest tour of years, and we will see what exactly happens with that one. And you will help us see what exactly we'll do to chit chat about this, because we can if you want to. How do we make that happen? Go to our feeds. This is the part we're a little late in this. Go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project and Twitter.com/th_conversation. When you go there, you'll see a news story posting every 50 minutes, a headline for you to click on, read, get into, enjoy, and then like, love, hate, share, do whatever you need to do to see what happens to what's going on. There you go. If you want to get into it, we'll talk about it. This story, if it makes into the top 15 of the top stories for the day, today all the way to tomorrow morning, I'll get a chance to whittle it out one of the top 8 stories. More or less, if I see it in the top 15, it's in there, but it has to basically be conversational per you. Maybe you don't care so much about Madge anymore. If that's the truth, then we'll move on to something else, like, Italian mobsters, because Italian mobsters always get things, or OnlyFans stuff, because it's just a matter of time for another OnlyFans story to pop up. Now, let's talk about sponsorship for us. You can help keep things going here by going to thisistheconversationproject.com/sponsors and visiting one of our sponsors. You can also visit our sponsor today we're highlighting, which is Zenni Optical. They can be directly clicked at thisistheconversationproject.com/Zenni, Zenni. Zenni Optical offers great glasses for great prices. Very, very low. That is perfect. And the glasses are great quality. They look good. They smell good. They make you look good. They don't make you smell good because there's no correlation there. However, they will make you feel pretty good about what you're spending on them, which is not a lot. You have to get 6 pairs and pay $100 to try them on. Buy one pair at very low cost, and if you don't like them, send them back. That's how good quality service happens. It's simple. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com/Zenni and get yourself your next great pair of glasses today. Zenni. This is an affiliate link, so you will see no extra cost to you. We just get a little bit of cut off of you joining them at Zenni Optical. Let's go to us now and talk about the Conversation Project. The Conversation Project is a website, or This is a Conversation Project is a website for the Conversation Project, and it houses all the things that we do. We have plenty of the podcasts, plenty of the video casts. We have lots of things to engage with you, all ways to have great conversations with people around the world on great topical stories, current events, different types of political things from all over the world. We are really big in Australia, believe it or not. The Australians love me. I'm not sure why, but you can love me just as much by following us at our website and finding more ways to hang out with us. Or if you want more ways to help support us, the sponsors page and the partnerships page are there as well. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com for all the stuff behind the scenes. And now the fun stuff for today. We call it the today stuff. We start off today's stuff with birthdays for the day. And that's why we have the big picture of Michelle Obama. Normally, it's one of our headlines that is in the teaser. Today, we're teasing the happy birthday to Michelle Obama, who we've learned recently was so tired of Barack for a while that she was about ready to dump him before he made a career change and made himself the president and, made himself cool. And of course, by circumstance, made Michelle the Obama, even cooler than him in the process. Although basically he was always kind of the death of the family. However, other birthdays to celebrate include James Earl Jones at 92 years old. Happy birthday, the voice of Darth Vader, the voice of CNN, the guy that just has been all over the place, done it all, inspirational, motivational. Thank you so much for all you've done, James Earl Jones. Still kicking it, voicing Darth Vader for the new Disney stuff. And Steve Harvey is 66. Once again, I forget to edit out that middle one, but Steve Harvey, 66. He's been pretty famous for saying things, sometimes the wrong things, sometimes the really wrong things, and being kind of funny, and then going from the hair to the not hair to firing all his folks and not allowing people to stare at him. But he's 66, so he gets his props in the day. On January 17th, we celebrate Ditch Your New Year's Resolutions. Today is Ditch Your New Year's Resolutions Day. And what do we do on this day? We give up on New Year's resolutions. Now, we're not saying you should actually do that, but this is a day that's basically most New Year's resolutions are done by 3 weeks into January, within 20 days or so of the first month. If you make a New Year's resolution, this is the day essentially where people essentially start to give up on the New Year's resolution. Now, if you call it a goal, you call it a mission, call it something with a bit more depth and put more thought into where the end point is, as opposed to just gunning it up front, you're probably not giving up on your resolution, goal, mission, whatever. But if you didn't, then you're joining a whole lot of folks. A lot of gyms get really, really empty today, which is why today was the first time I stepped into my gym. I do go to the gym at 3 a.m, so it's relatively empty anyway, but it was even emptier today. Now, the final thing to get into before we roll up at this is the one more thing you might not have heard. All right, enough. Now, check this out. Speaking of exercise, A Danish study suggested that drinkers who exercise for at least 3 hours a week may live longer than non drinkers who don't hit the gym at all. According to the evidence gathered over several decades, quote, at all exercise levels, non drinkers were worse off at 30% to 31% higher risk of heart disease compared with moderate drinkers, unquote. But just when we were getting excited about the possibilities of binge drinking after our next spinning class, the edible thud like definition of moderate drinking, air quotes, came calling. That's around a glass a day of wine, which is thought to reduce bad cholesterol in your blood. Anything more than that, and the benefits might be moot. So essentially, the study that a glass of wine a day is good for you. And they're saying a glass of wine, not a shot of tequila, not a six pack of beer, wine, because of the things in the grapes and things like that. So a glass of wine a day, which is moderate drinking, along with exercise a few times a week, could be good for your heart based on people who don't drink at all, but don't do anything else. Once again, it's back to the wine. And no whining from me. We're just going to wrap up for today, Tuesday, January the 17th of 2023. Thank you for being with us for today's edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Much smoother edition going on. We like the things we put in there. They take a little extra time. So sometimes if we don't hit the market right on time, things don't fill out well. In fact, we're a little longer than we've been normally because I did a bit more rambling, but there you go. Make sure you are staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task for all the great things. Don't give up on your New Year's resolutions today. Do not give up on your resolutions. Give it a few more days, give it more time, push it out, keep on going. You can do it. I believe in you. There you go. We're going to do this together. Also staying hydrated, limber, and on task. In the meantime, we are posting new news stories every 50 minutes on our feeds. Check them out so you can make sure you're a part of the show. You're basically giving me my marching orders what to talk about. And we'll see exactly what we're talking about come tomorrow on Things You Might Have Heard. Till then, have a great Tuesday.